you know what? I just realized this is the One Network. Hi, it's Eric and Allana from Taylored Together. And I think this is yours. I don't know. We're doing two different cameras, guys, because, hey, you know, got to use what you got to get what you want. So here we are. I got to tell you.
We're back.
We're back. We are so excited to be back. We did a few shows before, and you guys responded really well. But now, what's really cool, we are with the WUNTV network, Worldwide United Network Television. And we are so excited to be a part of this venture with Miss Lanita Nash and her vision of bringing communities and people together.
And 24/7 television on Facebook Live. Please forgive me. I am under the weather, pushing through. I don't even want to get too close to my wife to get her sick.
I'm like, ugh.
I'm going through it, but the show must go on, and I'm a performer, so even being, and I'm really sick, but I'm still pushing through.
He's really sick. I'm like, don't even touch me. Like, we're in bed, and I'm like, you get over there on your side, buddy. Listen.
I don't want to give her no cooties.
That's right.
But Taylored Together, you know, we started off on Blog Talk Radio, then we were doing Facebook Live, we took a hiatus, and now we're back on the One. And for those who haven't seen it, you can go on our Facebook page, Taylored Together, and listen to and watch our old episodes, okay? But,
we're up, at least on one over here, and go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, no, we have 4 sons, age 20, 10, and 6-year-old twins.
And we're constantly going, and you know, one of the things that we both have a really serious passion about is relationships. For me, specifically, this is my second marriage. I had been married before, and so...
She wasn't patient.
I wasn't patient. No. You know, I just didn't know any better. I didn't know what I didn't know. Isn't that what we learned? You don't know what you don't know. So now I know. But,
you learned.
Like, for real.
I waited.
He always lets me know that he waited
37.
for me. I'm like, well, where were you? I don't know.
Got married at 37.
You know.
But anyway, just like how we're on Facebook Live, technology made this union come together with God. Okay? And that is just a blessing in this story on Match.com. So,
but that's another episode. It's a great story.
I just wanted to give them a little taste
about this story. But what we are really passionate about is happy relationships, whatever they look like, because happy relationships make happy households. If there are children around, it makes happy, well-adjusted children. And whatever your relationship looks like, you want it to be happy, you want it to be whole. And that's what our whole thing is about, is how do we
And that's in dealing in truth and honesty and communication. You know what I mean? I think sometimes one thing Allana and I do really well that I notice with my relationship coaching program that a lot of people have issues with is, one, being honest but communicating your thoughts, dreams, wishes, desires in a relationship, in a marriage with your partner. You know, you can't have secrets, or you can't expect someone to read your mind. You have to actually speak up and speak to that person.
Exactly. One of the ways that when we met, and I'm not going to get completely in it, I was living in Colorado, Eric was living in New York City, and so we were separated by a pretty large geographic distance, and we had to talk. And guess what, guys? Talking creates positive relationships in any kind of relationship. Not being afraid to be yourself. So today's show, what we wanted to do is just kind of get into a list of different things, because the first thing you need to realize is, am I in a good relationship? And if I'm not in a good relationship, am I willing to put the work in to create it and make it into a good relationship? Is that worth my time? I mean, here's the reality. Nobody has to be anywhere. If you don't want to be in a relationship, you do not have to be in it.
And so often it's fear that keeps people trapped, like in a bad job or a bad marriage, a bad relationship. And that thought of, could I get better? Could I this and that? And it's like, when you increase your self-love, you're not going to stay in something bad because it doesn't help you.
And ladies, let me tell you something. We don't have time to stay into something bad because especially for women, we're on a clock. Man, y'all can just sit up there and make the babies until you're 87 if that's what you want to do. But for us, if we do want to be moms, we got to get on the right time clock so that we know that, like, this is worth my time staying in here, or I got to go, adios, see you later. The key, and this is where I tell people, the key is, one, don't get caught up in the grass always being greener, because it's not. Once that excitement of a new thing, passion, whatever, kind of gets built in with real life, you better make sure you like that person. Yeah. This is why you better talk.
You got to communicate and be honest and be friends. Yeah.
Exactly. But there's a fine line between hopping out of anything that gets uncomfortable or making that decision like, this isn't the best thing for me and I need to move on. So I was looking for some stuff to like kind of guide today's show, and I found this really great article in Real Simple. It's written by Devin Cornell, and it's 14 signs of a healthy relationship. So that's what
you mean Debbie Dev?
Debbie Dev, you know him.
Debbie
Dev.
Debbie
Hello.
Dev.
Y'all know Debbie Dev?
He be writing.
Exactly. And he writes for Real Simple. Anyway, he writes for Real. But anyway, so let me say this, okay, for real. So 14 signs that you're in a healthy relationship.
Okay.
1, you speak your mind. Okay, my background, honestly, I was in a very abusive relationship. That's another show.
Yeah.
But
now she speaks her mind.
Oh, honey, sometimes he's
too
like,
much.
will you please be quiet? You're talking too much. But you know what? But you know what? Let me tell you something.
But I let her.
When you are in a healthy relationship, you can speak your mind. You can speak your truth. It doesn't mean that Eric is always going to agree with what I'm saying, and vice versa. Yeah. But we give each other space to speak, and then guess what? We listen. Yeah. We absorb it. And
we're not perfect. We argue, but we work through it.
And you know what?
And we apologize. And wait, this is the key. And I'll talk about this on the next show, but it's very important. You have to sometimes humble yourself and just say, I'm sorry. It breaks down walls. There's times where I know that I was wrong or whatever, and you know, I can be a little stubborn. It might take me a minute, but I will say, you know, I'll be like, you know, I'm sorry. That's not my intention to make you upset or frustrated or angry. You know what I mean? You have to kind of just. It's like putting your heart on your sleeve. You have to wear it. And sometimes, you know, we get, as human beings, we can get so caught up in our own lives. But
hey,
also,
Erica, you've been watching for a while.
We can be also a little arrogant and not humble ourselves to just, you know, apologize. You have to apologize.
The next thing that we need next sign is, do you have your own space? Obviously, this doesn't mean just space within your living space, your apartment,
not separate
your own
homes.
bedroom, whatever it is. I mean, maybe for some people it is. I mean, I know some people. It doesn't seem to work for me, but I know some people who live in separate homes and they come together and this totally works.
Yeah.
But do you have your own space in that relationship? Meaning, can I be myself and have things that are just mine?
Individuality.
And that space is respected. Not just physical material things of me having my own area at the sink, but like, can I express and live out my creativity and know that he's going to support it?
And that's what you need, a partner that supports you 110%. You know what I mean? I don't ever verbally bring her down. And when she wanted to start her own business with Quench Natural, and check out quenchnatural.com. But I was 110%, you know, behind her and supporting her, because to me, it's two whole people, and you be the best 100% of yourselves. But you encourage and support and nourish and flower and water
what he just said.
Your partner.
I'm jumping in here, but a couple weeks ago we had a gratitude gala for Quench Natural, and I was talking about the business and everything, and he was there in the back doing whatever, and I was just inspired to just say, you know, not only is my husband my rock, but he is my rock star. And what I meant by that is, he's there, like, when I'm having a meltdown or freaking out, he's like, oh, you know, and he's real calm and he's very still waters, because I can get emotional. but he's there to keep me and go, okay, we got to get back over here. And when I'm needing to do something, he'll tell me when I'm like off track too. Yeah. But he's my rock star in that he is just cheering me on, and he makes me feel like I can do anything. And let me tell you, whoever you're with needs to be making you feel like you can do everything. That doesn't mean that you're always doing it right, and that doesn't mean that they aren't going to have to tell you sometimes, hey, you're on the wrong track. You
gotta be realistic.
But
rose-colored glasses.
Do they make you feel like you're doing everything right? The third thing that this person wrote, Devon, is you fight. You fight. Yeah, but fight. That happens. Like, hello, there cannot be two people on the face of the planet that are always going to get along all the time.
But through confrontation is where you have transformation, change, and growth. Okay?
Exactly.
So if you don't ever address things and you don't ever, you know what I mean, then how can you progress forward?
But is your fighting fair? Okay? Like, there are
don't bring up things from 6 years ago. And
don't bring up things, or just plain downright mean. Like, if it's just mean and there's no real purpose,
then don't say it.
Zip, stop. Don't do it. Okay? Because you know what? The wounds that you create last. Let me tell you, don't react when you're angry. Sometimes you can be frustrated and angry. That's normal. But then that's when you just got to give yourself some time so that you don't, you're not so quick to react, and you just kind of wait and chill and you contemplate and you think, self-analyze, and then you're like, okay, she said this. It hurt my feelings, but I don't want to lash out. We'll talk about it later. Right now, I'm just going to be quiet and ignore her. And then we'll come together and we'll talk about it later. And here's the thing, guys, too. The next thing is you like yourself and your partner as you are. Okay, we're kind of beating a dead horse, but listen, it's important. A good relationship lets you be yourself. And not only lets you be yourself, but supports you in being the absolute best self that you can be.
But I think it's important also
and
to...
do you like that person? Like,
right, but to encourage change, though, and growth. Because that's the thing. There's areas where, she'll push me and be like, oh, well, you could do this better or do that or that. And I'm
I
like...
can be real mouthy.
And then I'm like, no, she's right. I can step up and do that, And so I think it's important to have someone that sees you and gets you and knows your potential, right? She knows that I'm great. And so she'll push me to greatness if I'm like kind of lacking a little bit or whatever. She'll be like, no, baby, you can do better than that. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're right. You know what I mean? And vice versa. I'll test, I'll be the tester for some of her body butters or this and that or whatever. And I'm like, I don't like that smell,
So we're going to have to push it along. Okay. So the next thing is, do you make decisions jointly? Yes. What, guys? There should...
You don't just go buy a car and don't talk to your partner about it. That's insane. I don't understand couples that don't. We're not judging nobody. Everybody's got to work the way. But when you want to have a healthy, respectful relationship, money should not be kept separate. Kids,
oh
and you should discuss these things.
You have to talk about the way that you're going to raise your kids. You have to talk about the religion and make those decisions, all sorts of things. But do you make decisions jointly? Yes. Sometimes I have to make a decision. Sometimes he has to make a decision and we come back. But the big things that impact our family, our relationship, we make jointly, bottom line. And, we have to do it. And has there been times where maybe I've done something that's overstepped him or vice versa? Sure. We talk about it. We figure it out. Sometimes we have to take a step back. One or the other one of us has to take a step back. You have to be humble enough to take a step back if you messed up. It's okay. You'll get over it. But
because nobody's perfect.
Next
None of us
one.
are perfect.
Yep, I'm sorry. We're going to move real fast. Finding joy. Do you find joy? Let me tell you something. Life is all on how you do it. The glass is half full, half empty. It's all a perspective, right? I mean,
we laugh so much.
Let me tell you, we have been through
some stuff.
An unreal amount of stuff in these 12 years. And it hasn't been happy all the time. And it hasn't been easy all the time. We've had to deal with some really heavy stuff. Again, other shows, come on back. We will talk about it. You want to talk to us.
We got you.
But can you find joy?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. Anybody who comes into this house, they're going to see folks that are laughing all the damn time. Maybe we're delirious because we're tired. Maybe we're stressed out and we're just laughing. It's like that nervous laugh. But,
we don't get proper sleep because we always have 6-year-olds in our bed.
We're going to be happy because that's that's what we do for each other. We support each other and we bring joy to each other. And that's critical for your relationship. The next thing is, do you find balance? Okay. Let me tell you, Eric is into a whole lot of stuff that I have no desire to be a part of, mainly his sports.
I'm big into sports, but I told her before we got married, I kept it real and honest.
I like to watch Dateline and murder mysteries.
Yeah, she likes, but when we first got married, she used to watch that show Snapped, where wives would be killing their husbands, and I got a little nervous.
I had to make sure that he understood. I've watched enough of these shows, I might know how to do it.
I was just
watch yourself. Watch yourself. Okay.
She putting some poison in my coffee?
No. But, so you have to find balance. And it can't always be one person shining all the time and the other person always in the background, or always doing what one person wants to do and having another person always feel like...
And we have our different interests, but we come together and share a lot of interests together.
Balance is crazy important, because if you don't have balance, sooner or later you're going to have one person that's going to feel... It's going to have bitter feelings, because you can only put yourself second so often before it becomes detrimental. So you have to have that, and you have to have balance. Your traits each other. Wait, what did I say? Your traits each other with kindness. Oh, you treat each other with kindness. I was typing this last night. I was at real estate class, and I was quickly trying to type when the teacher wasn't doing it. So I'm like, you treat each other with kindness. Just small things, guys. Little things. Like Eric, he's super thoughtful, far more thoughtful than I am. He'll just send me a little text like, "You're gonna do great, babe. Have a good day." Just little things. I'm more of a person where I like to cook, or I like to do different things. So I'll make him special food, or I'll do these different things. It's my way of treating him with kindness. Are you pouring kindness into this relationship? You can't have a good friend without being kind to him. You certainly can't have a healthy marriage if you are not kind to that person.
And also, let me say this. You need to speak kindly, not just to your significant other, but about them to others.
No, let me tell you something. Nothing I hate more when I hear people bad-mouthing their spouse.
Don't do that.
A little bit of it, I get it. Girls, honey, we can all do that on occasion. But you know what? Your overwhelming theme about that person that you decided to build your life with, if it's not positive, one, you need to ask, am I supposed to be with this person?
Because if you can't say nice things, then you should probably bounce.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But and that's real. Like if you're at a place where you can never say really great things about your person, or 80% of the time it's not good, or whatever, you need to reevaluate. But then the next thing is you need to trust yourself. When you're in a good relationship, you can have trust in the decisions that you're making. You can have trust in the family that you're building. You can have trust in all these different ways, because that other person is supporting you and giving you those tools. We're gonna move on pretty quickly from that. Then 10 is you let things go. Okay, girls, I could hold on to some shit.
Women are worse, I think, than men.
I do. I'm telling you. I'm a replayer.
I'm better at that.
It's always going up in the brain.
And sometimes in my head, I'm like, is she still holding on to that?
No. Yes, I am. Yes, but you know what? I have to stop that, because the reality is I can't keep beating him up. He doesn't want to take it. It's not good for me mentally. It just keeps a negative spin. So you have to let things go. Healthy relationships, let things go when it's not needed.
Like Frozen, let it snow, let it go. I don't even know the song. We got boys. I don't know. What's this?
Anyways,
excuse me.
Are you intimate? Yes. There is no real healthy marriage if there's not some, let's do it, some good old sex going on. If it's not, then you have to question. Maybe you have a really significant good friendship, a partnership. It's not necessarily marriage, and that's okay. But you know what? We're talking marriage here.
And sometimes when you got kids, you gotta be creative.
And you gotta be, but then sometimes you have to understand, there are times where you can't, whatever, fine, I get it, but is the desire there?
Yeah.
Do you entice each other? Do you, encourage each other here and there? Because
attraction, being attracted.
When your attraction wanes, you kind of know that there's something going on, and you need to get yourself back on track. The next thing is your relationship is your safe place.
Yes.
He's my. Can I tell you, I'm out and about, and there's so often where I just wish that he was there to see certain things. Because I know either one he's gonna bug out and laugh.
Yeah, we have a weird sense of humor together.
Yeah, we
back
do.
up
We
about
really
different
do.
things.
But you know, I can come back and share with him, even when I've done something that maybe I'm like, that wasn't the best thing to do, but I'm gonna tell him, and he's gonna give me his real opinion. Sometimes his opinions are like, yeah, you really messed up. You shouldn't have done that. How can you get back? But he's my safe place to bounce those ideas off. He's my safe place when I've made a mistake. He's my safe place when I want to go for something that's insane and everybody's telling me, no, don't do it. He's my safe place to bring that idea to and help me craft it so that I can go after the things that I want.
And you want to encourage each other's creativity and passions.
Yes. You know, because you never
even
know.
Hobbies,
like, seriously, you know, Eric got very, very ill, 6 years ago. And he had something that literally could have killed him. And we're still dealing with it. And it has created the need for us to completely pivot all the things that we had planned. And we're reestablishing and refiguring out what that is. And let me tell you, as I'm going down these lists, I'm like, if we didn't have a lot of this stuff, that wouldn't have happened. But we have to be each other's safe place. As he's healing and we're going through this, we have to be each other's safe place to share joys, frustrations, hurts, whatever it is. We have to be the safe place. If your partner is not your safe place and your girlfriend is your safe place, no. Not to say that you can't have a good friend, but your spouse needs to be your first safe place, and then your girlfriends or your boyfriends or whomever it is that you share with. But again,
but you
also,
don't make decisions based on what your friends think and say.
You keep that bond. There's a level of sanctity. There's certain things that you don't tell anybody else unless you really, really need to. I mean, and I coming from a place of prior abuse, I know what it is to keep secrets. I kept bad secrets back then, that were detrimental, not because it created something safe and good for me, but because I didn't want the world to see and because I was afraid and that person I was with didn't want me to say anything. I'm talking about creating that safe space with you and your husband where you can go back and get counseling or get encouragement or support and life in a positive way. If it's not positive, no, keep it moving. But the next thing is you talk to your partner, not to other people. That goes right in there, safe space. So, same
and
thing.
We're not saying don't have, your confidants
and you need to have
deep
friends.
Wait, but you really, honestly, you should not have crazy, close, intimate relationships with the opposite sex.
I don't do that at all, ladies. Let me tell you something.
I think that you have, because I'm telling you, we've seen it time and time again. It just leads
You might think you can do it, but you can't. Let me tell you what. When you get married, you need to, your single friends kind of take a second. Doesn't mean you have to get rid of those friends, but if they are still number one and you're still living as a single person,
or you're still trying to go to the club,
you won't be married very long. So
you
have to make that decision: is where do you want to be and what do you want to do?
You can't be partying with the single fellas.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't play that. But at the same time, let me tell you something. Eric and I have parties, we have gatherings. He can go do what he wants to do. I can go do. I can walk up and do whatever. Even at this gala, he was talking to one woman, and then another person came over and began talking to him, and it might have been a little flirtatious because she didn't exactly know who he was. Fine, whatever. I have 100% trust in him, and she immediately she realized she really got together, but I didn't mind at all. Why? Because I 100% trusted him and I knew where we were. So, you have to be able to
you move
trust
around
your partner
separately,
and talk to different
but
people, but you don't want to disrespect.
Right, but you always come back together.
The next thing is, the final thing is you need to say those magic words. And that's what we're going to end on is those magic words. Anybody know what those magic words are?
1, 4, 3. What the music soul child say?
I love you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
And
you're welcome.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, guys, let me tell you something.
What did I say earlier?
I don't know what it is. There is a whole movement of people who don't like to say they're sorry.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, come on and come. Say you're sorry, because let me tell you, you're going to mess up a lot of relationships by not saying those little simple words.
And just being able to admit to your being wrong, right?
Yeah. So I love you.
Very healing.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You have to be able to say
My
that
bad.
all the time. And almost every single day, I'm doing something that's making him say. I'm doing something that's making me say to him those words multiple times a day. So it never stops. Guys, I thank you so much for tuning in.
We will see you in 2 weeks.
Please comment below. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
The 5th, February 5th and the 19th. All right?
Listen, we have different plans on things that we want to talk about relationship-wise. That's our passion. But if you have topics, tell us what you want to talk about. If you have a question, type it up there. I'll do my best to try and read.
Our email, so it's Taylored, the number 2, and Gether, Gether, right? So we have the Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter.
And the one.
And the One Network.
The one.
Okay.
WUNTV, the one.
The one. Oh, thank you, Lanita.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lanita.
And I'll be back very shortly. Just a quick wardrobe change.
A switch up, a switch
for Taylored2 Coaching.
And we'll keep it coming. Thank you, guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you. We love you. Bye.
See you soon.